army with truth in our hands. No more silence, we take a stand. For the people who cry for the dreams that fade, we speak for the hearts that justice betrayed. Radio True.
Well, hello there. Good evening. We're so sorry for starting a bit late. We've been getting small technical issues, but Kusha Salon, Kusha, una already listen to. We welcome to the Tweet Evening Talk on our number one program. We use focused and also really use this table and this channel for inform, educate, and at the same time entertain. Una. We did come live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, as we all know, from 8 to 9 p.m. on the days and day. And you get to be live from Twitter Media 103.9 FM, and we broadcast live from we studios in Abu Fields, and are always socials them with Facebook, with TikTok, and as well as we YouTube channels them. And you can be part of the program, like always, by joining any of the socials them. We say you could just tune in or even tune in na Radio Land. Me, na David Aspen Solomon. Like all time, we bring top-notch discussions them. Topic that really resonates to everybody. Let's start from the young people lives to go upwards. We bring conversations them we youth centered. We bring conversations them usana we when are young people and can cancel on and talk about them and as well as get una within our host for join the conversation. And today we dey talk about why it is a very sensitive topic. It is a very sensitive conversation, and one way for the longest of time, man, they don't push so hard for make them get the space, make them get the podium, make them get the platform for able for express and voice how they feel about this particular topic here. So we dey talk about why people and don't normalize now in society today for make man they not express their emotions. Let put her into context. A real man doesn't cry. Society's definition of masculinity and the men mental health. And now a topic down the way, of course, you don't able to put two and two together for able to understand. From young age, man enough for cry. As boy picking it, you're a man, you're not supposed to cry. Why you dey cry? So from when it's small, you know, people get that mentality. They say, no matter what is happening, I'm supposed to be a man. I'm supposed to not show my weakness. I'm not able. I'm not supposed, woman or anybody else not for even see me for the cry or even explain how I feel. So today we get two people in the studio. We go help me for more inside this conversation. And like I say, we always get youth centered discussions and worrying now young people them now who didn't also and talk about the issues there so we don't the highlight. I guess with me inside the studio Gasama Hassan Dao when I final year student, a final year medical student from the College of Medicine. Welcome to the studio.
Welcome to people in Ireland.
Thank you so much for coming. And we so get Kai Isaka Fangai, with a student in events production management, with they with me inside the studio for discuss about this. Good evening and welcome to the studio.
Good evening, Sarah, and good evening to Media.
So I get young minds. So I know say you go one for like us, we get a medical student and then we get one from the creative world. It's a bit tricky, but as we go along the line, you go able to understand. Because one thing I can assure you and one thing I want for make you know is that most of the man then don't channel the energy into becoming a young creative. Now we then I know that the channel, you know, them pains. You go ask a young person within inside the creative space, they tell you, say, oh, I've been go through a lot, so I turn me pain into power. So you go for can understand more why we get the two different people them from the two different dimensions them as I can say. You can be part of the program like always. Send a text message to short code the pop up on the screen now. Join we social media platform and TikTok Facebook as well as YouTube. Also, you go comment, left a message, and stuff. We go read them by you. You know, giving you 2 cents about this discussion. So we don't want to take much of our time. We want to go straight to the conversation. We get points and more to talk about today. We dey talk about how society don't normalize this. We dey talk about the stigma with around man them. We they not for talk about issues that really affect them. We get to talk about the common mental health issues them among man and stress, depression, anxiety, anger, suicidal thoughts them, and how the man up culture will affect man them. All of that you go get for can know and understand them. But first, I want to we can to medical students inside the studio. Welcome again to the studio. Plenty thank you, take it time for joining me in giving you 2 cents in this discussion. So I want to we talk about let we talk about the medical aspects first, the psychological and the health perspective of this particular discussion we will be about for can talk about as a medical student, you often interact with a lot of young people, man them to be precise, because of course you didn't have the man category. So, how often you don't see young man and they struggle with mental health issues? Them.
A lot of the times you only get to know say somebody they struggle when it don't go like halfway or more than halfway into a disease condition. Sometimes they say not to a formal setting you get you only get them from an attack-based point of view, where they will say, "Hey, Sam, this we brother, now and so don't happen to him," and as a result, it don't result to this and this and this level. And also, maybe sometimes you go to a gym, and will also tell you say, "No, you don't need to take medicine. You just need to man up and own up to this pain because you're a man." Then they say like somebody where they take a medicine for a pain for be weak. So this now a situation wherein somebody will get a disease. Let's say he gets problem with in wet because it take us say in a man, it will only show up when the thing don't go very worse in a way wherein sometimes person do surgery by the person. So this not a case. Man they know they show up whenever they get mental issues or whenever they get diseases until it don't go like 3/4 of the disease way for let it come back and well fine one like I for be it is find am difficult. All because they say we na man them, we for able bear, we for able own up, we for able swell out anything where they face we.
So, what if you say the problem they come out from? If you say they start from home, because most of the time people will point out, oh, na society. But a lot of time again, we grow up in a home stay where we don't dey see we parent and they talk power we forgot that they always say if you for don't say oh you na man you dey make so you feel like say the south side they shift the blame or side they cast the blame na the wrong side when they can say charity begins at home. Then they can only start from the home first before society they grab them and put them on our faces there.
So society within a place we are in, most of the parents are not taught what is parenthood. Like they actually don't know how to take care of picking. So you go like this. You ever see somebody grab and go tell him mama say I depressed? It was just say now because you know eat it, go eat.
Oh, they press the phone.
Like you cannot say. And a point wherein somebody will say out in mind and it will talk to this person if it's here. So it will just absorb everything and go into depression. And let's say if the person there in teenage years, it will begin seek attention from in peers and whatever, and it will lead on to something else. So it gears towards the foundation when at the parenthood until they are taught how to take care of their children and all, they will find it difficult for able lays with them. You see, picking that they beat am some kind way, for they even open up and say, now this and this they happen to me, you know what we'll do that day. So it gears towards the one at the baseline. You cannot teach somebody we don't big, so until they don't teach away small. So that's the case.
Okay, let me shift away from the medical and psychological perspective a bit. I'll come back to you. Let me come over to you, Isaka. Let me talk small bits about the youth focus and the youth perspective and same way to the social behavior. As a young person, in your experience, Why you feel say emotional experience don't be seen as weak among man them?
I don't know if I will get small time for like just lay some premise and probably we look at how this whole discussion starts from Usai. Um, I want to make people understand, say, first off, there is a difference between emotional discipline and control and emotional suppression, just like what me brother they talk. So many a times, it's again when I use them, like emotional suppression, not to like emotional control or discipline, like because me a man, whatsoever thing I dey go through, I will suppress them, I will endure 'em. And looking at this conversation, real men don't cry or whatsoever, you know, get any actual um, logical or whatsoever backing. Go back to the days of the Spartan, the Roman days. Now, from then, some of the ideology that starts like you a fighter when you go to the battlefront, if you're able to endure pain, that they show bravery. Say coming down to the eras of the Stoic philosophies, wherein then they try to validate pain, like when you endure pain, you're able to prove, say, you're a man, like when you bottle up your pain. So you ask a question about society. So sociologically, society contributes to all this because it don't evolve, it don't go through stages. And I go on for say waiting being good as at that time, the era of this pattern, you know, go good now this we present day. Because we live now in a days where in emotional intelligence very, very much important and matter, considering the family, relationship, even in terms of leadership, emotional intelligence, very, very much important. So the sociological theory or belief say because we a man, just like when brother say, from all small, we don't be hearing. Then beat yourself, you want cry. Why you dey cry like woman? You not to girl picking. Why you dey make like woman? But set him out. Can you imagine? Let's say for example, your mama die, you dey cry. Then person can meet you, Sam, cry like man. You understand? Wherein cry now one way person they able for express emotion,
Yeah.
pain, even joyful moments. Some people like can cry, but society they look at them say this is wrong. Enough of this, so you a man, you for able to endure 'em. So this thing where maybe sociology don't make we don't learn and don't accept where in way then get for do with gender socialization where they try for like teach man and woman waiting or how them for behave in a society from where they're small. Like now we get women that already advocate for 50-50. Society mean don't pattern woman and say then for them a kitchen. You understand? Back then they don't believe that. But until it reached to a time where in the woman they are aware, say no, we're not for just the being, we for take the lead. So that's the same thing with we demand them. Society don't make we don't pattern and don't believe, say, even where they go through this particular pain. It go funny, but you got someone, even if maybe snob, I go shame for telling company because they go provoke am.
Yeah, because that's my next question I want to ask. You know, there is a theory where say women supporting women, and it's like a whole campaign we say women they uplift each other. So how you feel say man and self able for support each other in terms of like this? Because I like the fact that you don't begin bring up scenarios there where in some you go baby go like snob you for like go even meet you party self experience like the free there is this fear. So you feel like there is ever going to be that space like woman and get these women supporting each other for like man and self able for adapt to that system they for make they able to get a circle of people they talk to with things anymore.
Yeah, I strongly believe so. We'll reach to that point there.
When I know reach the
No, well, there are things we need for work on because recently a video me they go around now I seen on Facebook one young guy where they try to talk about how they come into this homosexual business. They say now one man or one guy and it starts. Imagine if that body has at that time been go na police and go make statements say man rape me. So okay, sometimes even if you talk on our they just laugh. So that's the pattern. But with then kind of conversations there, we continue for the get them. I believe say we go reach to that point where if I dey go through pain, I can meet my friend and tell him say Sam, nah, like me now one person way I get certain I not go talk to everybody, but I get certain people when I trusted people in my life where no matter waiting happy with me, even I feel safe in a college, I dey tell him say Sam, I don't get friends who like I don't need for shame about that. You understand? But once you get certain people now, then go see them say, I don't need for do this, I don't need for complain, I don't need for grumble. No. The more you bottle them up, anyways, maybe we will come to some of the
Yeah.
effects when we go around start
So
to talk
I
about.
just want to come over to you, Gasimu. Let we talk about the most common mental health issues the way if you say they affect man them in a salon because it's like around like specify say when they say mental health a makeup of emotions and all the affects in it. But now waiting and say mental health, then quickly the waiting and say mental health in men, then quickly they'll refer to kush or drugs we man not to just man itself with anything. But as you say as you put the word mental health and man together, quick they're nothing at drug abuse. So I just want to quickly take you time for explain to family who they listen to you and watch you the different type of mental health issues them if you say don't they affect man them.
So depression are one, and most people they go into drinking a lot
As a coping
as a
mechanism.
coping mechanism because they don't get people ever talk to. Don't you dey get homes and way they become deprived because of that. You dey get families where they become deprived because of that. You dey get papa them where before them go to house, then will decide for them a street and deal with them friends them because then it feels like a coping mechanism for stay away from a problem and all. So alcohol, smoking, we involve push and others, now a major thing. And depression is a key factor in Sierra Leone where they make somebody like when you depress, now a leading a stepping stone for every health condition, heart problem now, anything for do with hypertension now, and even for you with sleep, now a problem. So it gets what you call ADHD, attention deficiency hypersensitivity, hyperactivity disorder, where they affect man then always. So because we not get people ever talk to, we not get yes we they listen to we always they resolve to the shortest way for like move away from reality. We go lead to drug abuse and other things. If you check most of the suicidal thoughts, the suicidal ideation, like you dey get 3 times before ever you get a male. You get so they can tell us say woman is stronger than man for lengthening and day. But women them they get more time for even talk to them, party them, and then give them better explanations on how to deal with things more than men do. So suicidal ideation, Salon we dey get 773 suicidal deaths approximately we WHO do. So all resolve in the fact that we know they listen or we know they talk things the way they happen more and more and more. All geared towards the fact say we not man them, we not for talk with in the affect we.
So speaking of man, they're not for talking they affect them. Why make you feel say because one key thing where somebody can like talk about Amy, I know they feel okay, then they tell you say go do therapy. Now one way we then can say okay, can you for ease up and bottle up,
Yeah.
bottle out the thing that really monitor you. But a lot of time again, we then like then coaches them or then therapists thing, looking at a one-on-one discussion with them. Most of the time, a woman them more can go therapy sessions.
Just like us this year.
So why make you feel say man and the entity? Because for man them like if for you circle so like what you say you get one or two party the way you go feel like say I important for you to talk to or not important for me to talk to. Then I would think you circle. But a therapist is somebody who is specialized where now you walk around the but still man and still they get this fear say I cannot go and sit in front of a stranger for go begin exposed or open up an emotions or how I feel.
So now the psychiatric units don't make a whole unit for talk to a person with depressed or want to talk to somebody. And they get a toll-free line where you can access and call them and talk. And when you go there, then we'll give you the best of advices. So I think the radio land get something for do, the media get something for do for educate the people and say this is it and we get ears for listen. I watch a movie, The Chai, wherein then discuss similar thing like this. We are in a society who say now only gun violence no more they go through. You understand? So the people them around make a whole men's club wherein every week then they go sit down and discuss the things the way they happen around them and how to tackle them as men. So then small groups here, in as much as will be the right channel, but it will help cushion down. And I want other people to understand, say, Sierra Leone now they move towards that one day. Wherein if you get issue, your mental health gets a disturbance, you can go to a person, you go get to a doctor, we specialize for that one day and you go to talk to you better.
Okay. Like I'm over to Shaka. We are begin to discuss about how young people most times I interact with man them and if we can get privileged conversations them, you don't most of them can get into the arts and crafts world, just like where you get into the industry of entertainment and you will get one-on-one discussion with somebody and you will quickly tell you say, me I feel like we me craft they tell me story because now we how they feel now they express to me craft. You've been in the entertainment industry, setting up programs them and all that. How often you dey see cases them of young people them we decide no more for turn them pain into them crafts rather than opening up to other people them?
All right. I don't come across many of them cases them dey. Sometimes through documentary when you dey interview people them, you dey hear some of them stories them. And I feel like now a very good way for like tell out how you dey feel or tell that moment they for make people dey aware say so thing the way they go through. But the problem where I can get now that many a times people don't know they pay attention.
So the little details.
Exactly. Because just like we talk, people are into arts and crafts, in most times tell out their story through waiting and they do. Some man a musician. Sometimes the lyrics them.
I'm not even listen. I dance with it.
People know they pay attention. Sometimes through the artwork them. Some man in artwork will depict certain scenario, certain situation where maybe it they go through or it don't go through or we person they go through it or but we know they pay attention. So that's also another thing where that was the time people then begin going
Listen to the
pick some of
lyrics.
the lyrics them say, oh, so maybe he was going through this phase, maybe you understand. But people then most times can just be entertained and fail to pay attention to the detail. And that thing they get harmed like when me medical doctor or me what and I don't highlight some of them. And when you also look at them sociologically, the harms they in three phases where this kind of thing they cause. Personally, family, and by extension, the society. Personally, when you talk about depression, I mean, when you meet people that we really don't go through the phase of depression, really, and I talk about that one way now, maybe whatsoever.
For a
but
phase. Yeah.
people that we really don't go through the phase of depression, when you talk to them, they don't say this is not person will really be pain. So personally, depression. Family, it can affect even parenting. You get some papa now the kind of math way gets. Just because of you don't get anybody way is able for talk to, for pour out how they feel. And they bottle them up and they get one mat where they affect the picking.
Yeah, because my next line of question I want to ask is the line of parenting. So a lot of times, man they don't gap up in a home without they know they see what them papa they do, and then they feel like okay because you see grown man like an adult, they tell you certain things. Say me papa na so be day, so me self na so I dey dey. You feel like say for most of the time, you feel like say it's necessary for me man and break the generational curses them they before they actually come into the world fully because then self they can born picking them or they can pass down anything and they so we have a long line of men that are hurt since they were kids so they don't born picking them when they say don't born picking them. So it's a long walk for women. So how do you think detoxing can work for men?
Well, in the context of the family or the relationship, I put them in a relationship before we go to the family. I believe in honest conversation as a man. Like me personally, if I deal with somebody and maybe things not seem to work out right, I believe in honest conversation. I can sit down and talk with you, say, the way they say this thing, I don't think say it go work out. So I think waiting best for me and you too, emotionally and mentally. it will be difficult now, but I think make everybody go in separate ways. Then I begin to bottle up things, or they feel like the moment get this kind confidence for talk to your partner, where they from that relationship level. Not so when you don't married, you will feel like say you get confidence for talk to a certain thing. So yeah, just like what you say, even before they go into married, there are certain things them we as young people them need for work on, because if we not work on anything, then we can born picking it and then see where they react. Like one thing where I get in me way, I think Alana for me daddy. I know one day see Usai, me daddy, and me mama make plaba. Not to talk of Usai, me papa beats me mama. So from where I small, I don't begin to see that kind of thing there for me daddy. And me personally, I don't think say by God's grace and with how or waiting I don't learn my life, I don't think say I will ever be two man. You
That is
understand?
it.
So,
That is it. It's
see where I learned from
yeah.
me daddy, because I don't see an amuse. Me daddy no ever do one. They no ever make flabber in front of me. So like me daddy been gets where they handle stress. I think one way I'm in the do am, me daddy be like for listening radio. And not the day for long hours, but when he come, then radio or listen radio. I think now one way and way they get over things them. It might not work for other person.
Right, yeah.
Maybe that honest and open conversation where you get with your partner will help you forget over that depression, that moment there. We're not going to affect the picking them. And I think lastly, when I talk about the three phases sociologically, how depression they affect, how this thing they affect people them, society, some of the violence them we experience in society.
Exposed to.
Now from there, affecting there, because some man get grudge in their hearts, some man get thing where they go through. Even the drugs, most of the people that will be affected by these drugs, majority in a man. And when you talk with some of them, they get to know they go tell you, say, well, I mean, they go school, some man because he feel this and he give up. You know, I mean, that person not been there around. Not so like say I want for like try for justify the drug abuse business, but the other side of the story can also be important for me to listen to. So some of them think they are all now like leading factors. Then you talk of suicide. I think most of the suicide already happen globally.
Na man
them more.
Yeah.
Because they don't get people them for talk to, or maybe they get people them for talk to, but then they shame for talk to them people and they imagine I go get my girlfriend when I know they try for like be discriminatory, but my girlfriend when a lesbian.
I forgot open up to
Open up to me, man. You understand? That kind of conversations. You understand? So
and funnily, those are the issues them when really they affect man. We can send them into depression.
Yeah.
You know, it's some man can feel like a funny thing, but to somebody if they are. So it is very sorry because maybe what you feel like some kind pass off joke. Somebody else they can very serious really affect in mental health. Quickly, I go one come back to you again. For look, I talk about Dandy deeper. Bola come over to his student medical doctor. You know, most of the time, when somebody can commit suicide, man them more. You go see in comments, me and that man they talk yesterday. He was smiling. He was all good. He was not been sick, not been part of like somebody who is sick. But he end up committing suicide. Now my question is, like when malaria you go to vomit, you go get, signs them and symptoms there. When are about the signs them and symptoms them of where somebody they go through depression?
It isolate. It move away from the normal. It gets more solace in isolation. You see that person way we don't use for the mingle with people them. It just take 1, 2, 3 days a day to himself. It spend more time in the dark. It get more time alone than it be spend with other people. So for depression, it not just one size fits all. It check the normal activity where the person be they do, and how he don't move away from that, and how that one don't affect him life. Because if somebody they go through depression, they not become functional. For example, even to him spouse, how then they react, how then they talk. They go tell say no me attire. Quickly begin to say attire. Even if then they go through coitus or whatever, they not would do them as much as if they do them. If now somebody where they do physical exercise, they play ball, they say they will do them effectively as if they do them when it be normal. So the major thing where somebody you will able to know say this person is really depressed. You get for do one with isolation. Two, the way the person dey dress in appearance. You dey see begin go unkept. Sometimes you go just watch somebody where we don't use for the bluff. And if they can't them 2 3 days now, yeah, just chaka and eat or whatever. You go be ask her, hey, oh man, what's happened? So once in a while, somebody no go come meet you. You dey call on a corner and ask them deeply. They will tell you what thing they go on with her. You understand? So the major thing for bringing out say this person is really going through something now isolation and the appearance where they become unkept.
Anxiety is another big word where people are not can really for understand, able for like put together. Depression, quick somebody can say I'm depressed at this. But what's in that thing will make up of anxiety because as to what's in the medical people can say there are two different forms of emotions and then depression different from anxiety. So I'll make you take your time for like explain to people them.
So for depression, like you go low in everything where you do. So if somebody will be very active, it go very low in the activism. It go like if you be there 10, it go -2, -5, minus. You understand? Why is anxiety? The person just excessively glad. It become anxious. It begin get thoughts. It imagine things the way no ever get for happen self. For example, if I can this thing can do me. It get a job business power. You understand? So it is something in the way you get exam. I imagine the example can be. Say this exam you get for art. It is when begin sweat by yourself. The art begin beat everything. They become hyper by you. Why is depression now? You go low instead of being hyper. So for anxiety, somebody become anxious. They begin see no more. They watch around no more. Like possibly one increase. For example, I don't become anxious now. I don't sit down. I would imagine saying that they can't choke me. I begin jog by myself. I begin make pexu. You understand? So that's the thing. But for that one day, now a quick for letting know say this person it need help. Unlike depression. Depression can be a silent killer.
All right. So we dey go take this video. Osai, I feel like now one thing we Salon it for also incorporate. It's a podcast wherein two man them will get a conversation. I don't want to call the name, I don't want to be the one for like bust the bubble. But probably if you are into podcast, you gonna know Dr. K. Now somebody way na an achieved man now, but now this particular podcast, it been for explain in story. Done school till 35 years. And then they begin for like way on them because society they expect say well in family in India come on in family they expect say by the time they say 2025 for done school for be achieved. So like for India it would explain say there is this well for everywhere say not just India for every family even in Sierra Leone it's happening say for every milestone like we 15 boy picky for don't do this 20 for don't before they say 30 if I don't marry, if I don't get picking. So like by the time of the born, your family already get a whole map for you. And so if you now not reaching milestones and you feel like you don't make heights in life. So and be explain about the pressure we in as an individual being able to face, we also be noticed among man them we make if feel like says a lot of issues in the around man them we don't the cause and but let's look this video quickly. It's a 1 hour video, but we've been able to cut half of for me to able to understand the traumas and the half thing man and they go through way we not see. We'll be right back.
This is super scary. 50% of men who kill themselves have no history or evidence of mental illness. What causes people to kill themselves is they try to connect with others and they get rejected. So mental health is the one area where addictions are getting worse, depression is getting worse, suicidality is getting worse. So there's a crisis that's going on in men, and people think that this is new, but I don't think it's new. It's always been there. So if you look at even 50, 60 years ago, 80% of suicides are still going to be men. So historically, men have been killing themselves for like 100 years and no one's been paying attention. We're just noticing now because the problem seems to be getting worse. So there's a couple of things that are really interesting to understand. So one is that if we look at what technology is doing to our brains, the first thing that it's doing is it is externalizing our attention. So if you look back, like let's say 1,000 years ago, as human beings, we spent a lot more time with ourselves. So let's say that you and I go out hunting. And then let's say you shoot an arrow at a deer and you miss. And then I shoot an arrow at a deer and I hit. So in this moment, I'm superior to you. And then we pick up the deer and we're carrying it back. And then we have about 2 or 3 hours to take that emotional insult and we kind of process it. We just give our mind space to process it, which it does automatically. Now, if you look at what happens in people's days, they don't actually have any time to process what happens to them because we are so constantly distracted by external things. So I don't know if you're like this, but I was in this point where I was idiotically efficient. So I would wake up in the morning and I would listen to a podcast while I'm like doing my exercise or whatever. And then even when I'm cooking, I'm listening to a lecture. And then like when I'm walking to the train, I have earbuds in and I'm listening to a lecture there. On the train, I'm reading. I wanted my life to be completely efficient. I didn't want to waste a single moment.
I literally listen to the news in the shower. It's
right. So we don't want to waste time. And so if you really think about it, where's the attention of your mind? Your mind is pointed outside of you. And so then what happens is once we do not pay attention to ourselves, we lose sight of our internal signals. Literally in the same way that if you raise a child in a dark cave, the photoreceptors in their eyes won't develop. They will atrophy. So anything that the mind does not get access to will start to atrophy. If I don't practice Spanish, I'm going to forget Spanish. The brain is a very efficient organ. So as we externalize our attention, we lose sight of our internal signals. We don't know who we are anymore. And now if I don't know who I am, how do I figure out who I'm supposed to be? I pay attention to the outside. Where are the answers? They're on the outside. So this person is talking about masculinity. This person is talking about what it means to be a man. This person is talking about what it means to be a man. And now since I don't have any internal source of information, I'm trying to figure out what it means to be a man from the outside world. And this is when men get truly fucked. Because what it means to be a man, we are getting all kinds of mixed signals. So on the one hand, it means being physically fit. On the other hand, it means being a provider. On one hand, it means having sex with as many women as you can find. On the other hand, it means having sex with just one woman and being a really solid man and being a good father. And then there's also people telling us that being a man means that you're shit, right? That you're toxic, that your testosterone level makes you violent, that you're evil, that you're privileged, that there's a patriarchy, all this kind of stuff. So we're getting all this information from the outside about what it means to be a man. And so there are all kinds of interesting ramifications of this. So men in today's society are not allowed to complain. So if you complain and you're a successful person or a privileged person, everyone is going to think you're arrogant. Everyone is going to think, oh my God, who's this fucking guy? This guy doesn't know what my life is like. How does he have any right to complain? And even your mind will tell you this. You'll look at these people and you'll be like, yeah, I don't have a right to complain. But now we need to stop for a second and think about what it does to your psychology when you as a human being are not allowed to articulate your suffering. I've worked with people who've grown up in abusive households where children will say to their parents, Mommy, Daddy, I'm hurting. And the parent smacks them across the face. How dare you? You're so lucky. You don't realize the sacrifices I make for you. It's traumatizing to the child when they say, I am suffering and no one listens. This is what we're doing to the generation of men. People are saying, I am suffering. For 100 years, men have been killing themselves. 80% of suicides are men. The most dangerous thing for a man under 45 is themselves. And these people have been literally killing themselves because no one has been listening to them. With male suicide is not depression, and this is super scary. There's one study I saw recently that suggests that 50% of men who kill themselves have no history or evidence of mental illness. And this, I believe the statistic in my clinical practice because I know what depression looks like. I know what bipolar disorder looks like. And half the men that I've worked with, at least, are not actually mentally ill. See, mental illness means a pathology of the mind, which means that the mind is malfunctioning. Most of the suicidal men that I work with, their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living. They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of this situation. So they turn to suicide. So I know it's kind of like a very controversial statement, but I think that's what my clinical practice has shown, and there's some research to even back that up. So if we sort of look at what's going on with men, we're sort of, they have nowhere to turn to. And the number one thing that correlates with it is not mental illness, but is a sense of thwarted belongingness. So this is kind of like multivariate regression analysis.
So this is the
But
issue
basically what
why
happens is
a lot of time they say technology good. But if you listen to the analysis, Isaka, you will make mention of that. And they say the issue of mental health issues don't date from way back, but now. You not even see man and they talk about them because technology we all the hide behind we phone them we all the hide behind social media. You listen where in make mention about the fact say before now you're a company man go hunting when I go sit down when I go fishing when I go get certain conversations then but now when men go out and in public or when they come out you see say it's just we all dip our phone. There's nothing like conversation really happen. So in your own opinion and context, you feel like say social media don't actually play a role in seeing that man they only they suppress the pain so that they feel rather than like Skadeo, Papa them or the people them before we like waiting Dr. Casey, but they get actual discussions them on how they really feel.
Well, I think now two-way traffic, you get the positive side because I feel like through social media, they help some of we for read and learn and get some of them kind of conversations there. You understand? And while as you get some people in, we social media they help them forget over certain things. Yeah, they are I go, like me personally, me na law students final year. But I get people that were sit down with in a class from school. Some don't do 3-4 years now at the bar. There was a particular time in my life where I feel like say I don't feel like just like where that guy talk about. I pay attention to the external. I feel pressured. But this now sit down a class. Why for be lawyer before you? Not to say I'm fool, not to say I'm stupid, but because of challenges we are facing, make me and they not go the same time. So social media helped me because I start to read books and I start to get people the way I begin to listen to through social media. So I think like social media gets positive role where they play for help we for get them kind of conversations there and create the safe space for make we learn and read. So yeah, a positive.
Okay, now come over to you. The issue of you don't you see there is a space for man and for talk. It's like a podcast. When not something we not see Gasimo, not see them kind of thing in a salon. We don't make a lot of time. By the time this person not lost in life to suicide. This person so what now you take on the fact say there is a need for create a space for man and for be able for like voice, get discussions there like this, like not just podcast and one day forget about that, but like actual conversations where they come with analytics and also real conversations then for man then.
So just like I said just now, I don't see a movie where in men get a circle, they call it men's circle. Then they meet every week for ensure say then they share out the problems and find ways in solving them. So if we move in that vein, we move in that era, we move in that timeline of understanding the fact say before they talk to yourself, before they ask the brother there, how then they do. They don't say I not talk to you, wait here happen, wait till they go on Sam, it say this, it say that. So it's you being your brother's keeper. Now we for take about we self for ensure say society don't paint we for be this kind person, but we able to rewrite history and go back to a point wherein our voice will be heard. So we for begin go back to circles, to storytellings wherein we dey go sit up and tell wetin dey happen. But again, as a man, we can always be feel say we not for talk wetin we dey face. Some can be so shameful that if I talk now, they go provoke me. We get that provocation, we always dey happen. And we will go boys school, you know how we can have be. Where I tell man say, son, na this happen. Oh.
Charge
Then
you.
they will dey charge you now till the week done. So all that fear they don't instill them inside we they find them difficult. But it's really, really important. If you open a broadcast now and you begin find ways in people come in and talk to you, then you go understand say people they go through a lot.
And when you talk about podcasts, a lot of podcasts we say around now, oh man, so that need to bring me to my question before we wrap up. Is the fact that I don't get a conversation with man a lot of time we say society they raise women into standards them for broken man them, we at the end of the day back, the woman in the car end up with them man in the and the same way so okay end up for broke them. Also the issue of toxicity they come up.
Yeah, so it's a two-way traffic. You know, we just talk by the man there and left the woman there. So we forget a point wherein men are being taught how to live away from the normal. We for come out from that toxicity, masculinity where they don't teach we to the point wherein we go able to sit up and talk waiting they happen to the next person without the fear of being judged. So now man they not go talk. Man will just swell. When something happen to woman, you see every Soyat organization will come say this na woman, this na woman. But if it happen to man, and they go be don't forget. This is the society we live in, and men are the are in the crossfire for every bad thing wey happen. You dey see even when it comes to the law, then they prioritize woman and pikin them, say them vulnerable. White men then say we for Chester, we for moving this way. So this is it. So it's not just us. We waiting and say, okay, we want let this thing happen. We therefore internalize and put them into practice and see how maybe how the hospital will not begin make ways for in people and they go explain the problem. Then get a whole psychiatric unit where they for talk to people that we get depressed and all that. And all that. The law self will come in and find ways for get psychosocial support where they will give to people the way they go through the entire. This me
Okay.
brother when a sociologist go come up with ways.
Yeah, because I know
in
they talk
which,
about psychology a lot.
Yeah, so
You know,
this
so
is the thing. And people and they go through colleges without finding ways of making waited all land at college be useful. Man then go can say, okay, now maybe they can sit on social media for talk idleness. You see? So because we not get that kind of platform we are in, so until if I can't talk now, so I'll get the ability for like get something from me talk where they talk. People know they pay for podcast. We say just makes sense for like just can do podcast where I will go hustle and get something out of it.
yeah. So okay, as we wrap up now, I wish we can get enough time. How you feel say we all can do better in creating a space for man them for also feel like they matter and their voices they must be heard.
So if you and a spouse, you pay attention to the man when come, ask him waiting, and they go, not to all time, if they only call me. You don't can put additional stress to them. So if even you get something in mind for talk, we'll talk. If you know a parent, when you begin come out from school or whatever you come out, we come for the day, ask them what happen. Get time for sit down and talk to you person where you they take care of. If you know a brother, you don't see say this person they move away for a while, call him and ask her what thing they happen. So we for come back to the point where we tell stories about our lives than the point where in all day we on phone and we hide behind the screen about we emotions. So as a man, you get right for cry. As a man, you get right for say your mind to people. We just bottle them up. If somebody do you wrong, tell and say this is wrong, I don't like them. You understand? In that way. And as a man, aggression is not masculinity. You get for show empathy, you get for show love. You get for show that feminine side of you where people that they feel say man they're not for show. Because that's the only way. If you keep bottling it up, then stress, anxiety, and everything will come in. Depression, you go kill yourself.
All right, Isaka, as we wrap up now, I wish you would been getting enough time where you go deeper into the sociology aspect. But this one really don't make up of most of the thing that we as society don't do to man to the point that they feel like say it is okay for me to bottle up rather than expressing our feelings. As we wrap up again, how you feel say as young person, we all society now, we homes there now, we religious leaders them now, or any other person again can come in for say that say we all create that enabling environment say as we they do for women and for make man themselves feel hard and make them feel like say themselves they part of the world.
I think for make that happen, first off, we demand them for be open up, and we forget confidence for talk or for tell people them when we dey go through face. Just like when brother say, nothing no wrong for make you as man you cry. If you talk about religious leaders, sorry, one of the shortest verse in the Bible say Jesus wept. You get? So for we when a Christian, imagine somebody we believe say come in the form of God, he cry. What do I mean when I Isaka? You understand? So it's not bad for make man cry. But let we learn for get this confidence for talk and let we feel free for talk. I want to round up with this conversation around FGM. We see how we all come and promote them and support them. But I don't think so anybody don't ever sit down and try to get a conversation around man society. Like, you don't ever sit down for once and think, like, what the hell is happening inside here? What if they chap us in the body in back there? You understand? We don't ever get them conversations in it. So, in as much as we demand them once for be open up, we like ask society for give it that space and for make them accept we. Make them see the weak side of we. Understand? Not so just that rigid side and for they appreciate. The loving side, the soft part of we. And make society reduce the pressure on we. Boy picking for successful, you for hustle for UF. But like it's a lot. So I think that's not me humble appeal and that will be the conclusion.
It's been one interesting 1 hour wherein we don't able for like digest this topic to some extent. We just hope that next time again we could get a conversation like this so we'll go able to delve deeper into this aspect here. So, but I feel like say or to me guys they really don't hit the nail on the wall. We don't talk about the issues them from family, society, and we even as individuals there how don't make life so difficult for man them for live and seem so for thrive. You don't listen to Tweet Evening Talk where they meet you from Tweet FM 103.9 FM. And today the topic don't be around a real man doesn't cry, society's definition of masculinity and men's mental health. You know, whenever they talk about mental health, now big word, and for the longer term now, we not only bring man into the table of this discussion, they always don't they feel left out. When I also they draw the curtain down for today's Evening Talk. Being big thank you to me listeners them and to all we not able for get on a comment them and take on a message them we are so sorry to me producer and officer to line Cardin and Kerfala Kago to the whole technical team and to Simon Joshua OC and same with you to DJ Flex. Sorry, we will bring to the edition country. My name is Solomon. This is Tata.